incoming transmission.
Hello, this is Matt and McKinley from History Dispatches.
We are the father-son duo bringing you the weird, the wild, the wacky, and the craziest tales from across time.
From the Ice Bowl
to the Great Heathen Army.
And the head of Oliver Cromwell.
The same head they kept on a pike for 3 years?
Yep, all here on History Dispatches.
New episodes every weekday.
Find out more at historydispatches.com or wherever you get your podcast app.
Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm your host Kyle Wood, and today we'll be learning about everyday items that originated from NASA technology and research. These are things you might be using regularly without even realizing they're out of this world origins. But before we blast off into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little game. Think you can tell fact from fiction? It's not always easy. Consider this. We've all heard of Tang, that bright orange powdered drink mix often pictured alongside astronauts. It feels like the quintessential space food, right? The story goes that NASA invented it specifically to make water more palatable for astronauts in orbit. But is that true? Was Tang truly a NASA invention designed for the final frontier? Take a minute to think it over. We'll return to that at the end of today's episode. Now for our word of the day. The word for today is spinoff. In the context of technology and innovation, particularly regarding organizations like NASA, a spinoff refers to a product, technology, service, or even a company that has been developed using technology, research, or resources originally created for a different primary purpose. So NASA might develop a new material for a spacecraft heat shield, but later that same material technology is adapted or spun off into cookware or insulation for buildings. NASA actively promotes this through the Technology Transfer Program, encouraging the commercial use of its innovations. So when we talk about NASA spin-offs today, we mean technologies that started with space exploration in mind, but found new life right here on Earth in everyday applications. It's a fantastic way that investment in space exploration directly benefits our daily lives. Now for today's mental high five, our top 5 fun facts about everyday items that came from NASA. First off, that memory foam mattress topper owes its existence to keeping astronauts safer during liftoff. Memory foam, or temper foam, was first developed back in the mid-1960s under a contract from NASA's Ames Research Center. The goal wasn't initially for comfy beds, but to improve seat cushioning and crash protection for airline pilots and, crucially, for astronauts during the intense G-forces experienced during launch and re-entry. The material needed to absorb shock and distribute weight and pressure evenly. This viscoelastic polyurethane foam has a unique property of conforming to the shape pressed into it and then slowly returning to its original form once the pressure is removed. While NASA used it in spacecraft seats, its commercial potential was quickly realized. Today, it's ubiquitous in mattresses, pillows, medical padding for wheelchairs and prosthetics, helmet liners, and even footwear, providing comfort and support thanks to space-age origins. Number 2, you can actually thank NASA for that scratch-resistant coating on sunglasses. Plastic lenses for eyeglasses and sunglasses offered advantages like being lighter and more impact-resistant than glass. But the major drawback was that they scratched easily. This was a significant problem for astronaut helmet visors, which needed to withstand the harsh environment of space, including abrasive moon dust and micrometeoroids, without impairing vision. Scratches could be dangerous. NASA's Ames Research Center developed a special protective coating to make their plastic visors more durable. In the 1980s, the eyewear company Foster Grant licensed this NASA technology to apply a similar ultra-thin, transparent, and highly scratch-resistant plastic coating to their lenses. This innovation dramatically increased the lifespan and usability of plastic eyewear, making the scratch-resistant lenses we often take for granted today a direct spin-off from protecting astronauts' eyes in space. Next up, your handy cordless drill got a power boost thanks to NASA's mission to collect moon rocks. For the Apollo missions to the moon, NASA needed specialized tools, including a portable, self-contained drill capable of extracting core samples from below the lunar surface. They partnered with Black & Decker to develop such a device. The challenge was to create a powerful, lightweight drill with an efficient motor and a battery source that could operate reliably in the vacuum of space. Black & Decker developed computer programs to optimize the design of the drill's motor and minimize power consumption, a crucial factor for battery life. The expertise gained from this project directly fueled the development and improvement of cordless technology back on Earth. This led not only to better cordless drills and tools for consumers, but also paved the way for other battery-powered devices, from cordless medical instruments to the original dustbuster handheld vacuum. Number 4. Even baby formula got a nutritional upgrade thanks to NASA's research into long-term space travel food. This one is fascinating. While investigating potential life support systems and food sources for long-duration space flights, NASA scientists explored the use of microalgae. They were looking for ways astronauts could potentially generate their own oxygen and food on extended missions, perhaps to Mars. During this research, they discovered that certain types of algae were exceptionally rich sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA and ARA. These fatty acids are naturally found in human breast milk and are critically important to infant brain, eye, and nervous system development. A company called Markel Biosciences Corporation, which had scientists involved in the NASA program, licensed this discovery. They developed a way to extract these nutrients from algae, creating a vegetarian source called Formulade. This enrichment is now added to the vast majority of infant formulas sold in the US and many other countries, boosting infant nutrition worldwide thanks to research aimed at feeding astronauts far from home. Starting to see how NASA has helped not only explore space, but also built the world as we know it today? We're not even done yet. Next up, it's hard to picture our world without cell phone cameras, but that technology had to come from somewhere. You guessed it, our fifth and final fun fact for today: the stunning photos on your smartphone and even life-saving medical images share roots in NASA's quest to see the moon and stars more clearly. Let's start with your cell phone camera. In the 1990s, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory was working to create smaller, lighter, more energy-efficient cameras for interplanetary missions. A team led by scientist Eric Fossum pioneered the CMOS active pixel sensor. Unlike older CCD sensors, CMOS or CMOS sensors integrate multiple functions into the chip itself, drastically reducing size, power consumption, and cost. This breakthrough didn't just make space cameras better, it paved the way for the tiny, high-resolution digital cameras now ubiquitous in smartphones, webcams, and countless other devices. But NASA's impact on imaging goes even further. During the 1960s Apollo missions, NASA needed ways to improve their faint, noisy images being sent back from the moon. The Jet Propulsion Lab developed sophisticated digital image processing techniques, computer algorithms to enhance contrast, sharpen lines, and reduce distortions, turning fuzzy signals into clear pictures. This work, manipulating digital signals and reconstructing images, provided the foundation for later medical imaging like CAT scans and MRIs. These life-saving tools rely on similar principles of using computers to process sensor data and create detailed views inside the human body. Now for some news you can use. Along with all the other everyday technologies brought to us or enhanced by NASA, we can thank the space program for our water filtration systems. NASA obviously had to do a lot to improve filtration technology to keep the astronauts hydrated on missions where water could be scarce, and they needed to find ways to recycle the wastewater. So, with that in mind, I want to talk to you a little bit about water filters. Whether you use a pitcher filter, a faucet filter, or one built into your fridge, be sure to change the filter cartridge regularly according to the manufacturer's recommendations. Don't wait until the water tastes bad or the indicator light, if you have one, tells you to. Set a calendar reminder. Those filter materials, like activated charcoal, have a limited capacity. They work by trapping and absorbing contaminants. Over time, they become saturated or clogged. And once saturated, the filter loses its effectiveness and might not remove impurities properly. In some cases, a clogged filter can even become a breeding ground for bacteria or potentially release some of the trapped contaminants back into the water. Following the replacement schedule ensures your filter is always working optimally to provide the cleanest, safest water possible, just like the astronauts needed. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Before we wrap up this episode, let's revisit the question from the very beginning. I asked if NASA invented the orange drink Tang specifically for astronauts. Is that a space-age fact or a well-marketed fallacy? This one is actually false. Whilst Tang certainly became famously associated with the space program, NASA did not invent it. Tang was actually invented by a food scientist named William A. Mitchell for the General Foods Corporation back in 1957, a year before NASA was even established. It hit test markets in 1959. So why the strong connection? Tang was used by the NASA missions, starting with John Glenn's Mercury flight in 1962 and continuing through the Gemini program. Astronauts reportedly didn't always love the taste, but it was a convenient way to make an onboard water supply, which sometimes had a metallic taste from the storage tanks, more palatable. General Foods capitalized heavily on this association in its marketing, cementing Tang in the public imagination as the astronaut drink. So, while astronauts did drink it, NASA didn't create it. The timing and clever marketing created a myth that persists today. Speaking of space food myths, let's talk about a gift shop favorite, freeze-dried astronaut ice cream. You know, the crumbly block of Neapolitan goodness. While it was developed by the Whirlpool Corporation under a contract with NASA back in the Apollo era, it turns out astronauts don't really eat it in space. According to astronauts, it's notoriously crumbly, and tiny crumbs flying around in microgravity can be a huge problem as they can get into the equipment or people's eyes. Reportedly, that freeze-dried astronaut ice cream only flew on one mission, Apollo 7, and it wasn't popular. Today's astronauts on the International Space Station actually have freezers and occasionally get deliveries of regular ice cream as a treat. So that freeze-dried block is more of a fun, earthbound novelty than actual astronaut chow. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.